Hi everybody, welcome back to Small Caliber Arms Review. I'm Richard, and today we're going to take a look at what's in this box from Bond Arms. Alright, nice little plastic case, and we'll get it opened up. And there it is, a little Derringer. This one is a Bond Arms Rough and Rowdy. It is the Rowdy with the Rough and Rowdy 45 Colt 2.5 inch 410 barrels on it. Now it's a pretty neat little gun because this thing comes in like 17 different models and 37 different barrels, and all the barrels are interchangeable. So if you want to get a 9mm barrel to go on this one, piece of cake, all you got to do is swap it out and it's good to go. Any caliber you want. I don't think they make a 22, but they make it 9, 38, 357, 45 ACP, just a slew of them anyways. But pretty neat little gun. Let's set that to the side, and here's what else comes in the case. There's this little plastic corrosion protection piece, which is kind of weird. I've never seen one of those before. But you got this little card here. It tells you look under the foam packaging for some additional stuff. And you get in there, there's the approved safety device. It's just an Allen wrench, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. You've got a catalog in here, shows you a bunch of the different ones you can get in there, and there are, like I said, there's a slew of different ones in there. On the low end, you're looking at about $269 with the, I think it's the Rough and Rowdy, or it's one of them anyways, and up to $1,355 for on the high end for the Texas Ranger. You got some price guides right here, an offer to join the NRA, your owner's manual, another little sales deal here for the Rough series anyways, the Roughneck, the Rowdy, and the Grizzly. But let's get all this stuff back in here, and we will take a look at how this lock works. Now I'm not going to lock it, I'm not going to take that out of there, but it's just a small Allen wrench that is taped to the card there. And all you got to do is open it up, and right in here there's a little tiny hole that you actually put the safety on. Go ahead, it's a cross safety on there, and that blocks the hammer. And then you can turn it around and put that Allen wrench in that hole right there and tighten that screw up, and that'll prevent that safety from being able to go back across there. But it is unloaded, and real quick, like, we'll go through the cleaning procedure. Push that lever down, clean your barrels. That's it. There is not much to this gun here. This is a 3-inch barrel on here. It will handle the 2.5 inch 410s, which means you've got about a 1/2 inch of rifling in there. That's all you've got. So there's not much room to stabilize a bullet in there. Here's the 410 shell. It goes there. You can see the end of it is right there. It also shoots 45 Colts, or 45 long Colt, depending on how you want to say it anyways. But you've got a pretty big jump from there till it hits that rifling, and then it'll stabilize the bullet. So accuracy, I'm gonna guess, is probably not the best, but this is not a long distance gun by any means. It is up close and personal, get off me gun, belly gun, gut gun, whatever you want to call it. To fire it, you just pull the hammer back. You shouldn't dry fire this, even though it is a center fire. It has a recoil or a rebound hammer in it. So what that means is when you pull the trigger on it, that hammer is going to let go, and it would normally stop right there, but it's going to push forward enough. Let me try this again. It's going to push forward enough to contact the firing pin. Now there's a piece on the back of the hammer here, right down there in the back of the hammer, and each time you cock it, it'll move from one side to the other, so it'll either contact the upper firing pin or the lower firing pin. There are 2 firing pins in there, so it will hit, like I said, one barrel or the other, the lower one and the upper one, and they toggle back and forth between one and the other. There is a trigger guard on it, and I suspect that that trigger guard might be a good idea to leave it on there just because of the kick, so it doesn't come up and your finger will kind of help keep it from coming out of your hand and hitting you in the face anyways, hopefully. But we're going to get this thing loaded up. We're going to take both out there. We're going to take some of these Winchester defense ammo. These have 3 plated defensive discs in it and 12 plated BBs for each round. And then of course we're going to take some 45 Colt cowboy loads out there. All right guys, here we are in the saloon with the Bond Arms Derringer. It is unloaded currently anyways, nothing in there. It's a small little compact gun. It weighs about 19 ounces and probably the kind of gun you would carry in a saloon as long as you're not drinking, but you suspect you might get into a bad card game, or maybe you want to do, you know, like Jim West does and just have the little thing in your arm there and kick it right out into your palm. But I have not found a commercially available one of those retractable, extendable sleeve type deals for the gizmos for the little Derringers. But anyways, this one's pretty hefty. It is available in a lot of different configurations. All the barrels are interchangeable, so if you want to get a different barrel, you just want to buy the basic unit and then swap out barrels later on, you can do that easily because it's just the one bolt at the top and they all interchange. There are a lot of holsters available for this. If you go on Bond Arms website, there's a bunch of different ones. There's Kydex, there's leather, there's all kind of stuff. They've got one that you would wear if you were driving. They got shoulder holsters, the whole 9 yards. Now be aware, some of their stuff is not inexpensive, even for a little 2-shot Derringer. This is not completely inexpensive. They are a little pricey. But anyways, we're gonna get this thing loaded up with a couple 410 shells, and I'll show you how to do that. And then we'll give it a shot at the 7-yard target. All right, you'll definitely want to have eye and ear protection on when you're firing this thing. I'm going to be shooting at a plywood target, so I'm kind of standing off at an angle so that if anything does come back, hopefully it misses me. All you got to do is pull the hammer back and aim. And if you'll notice the sights on this thing, there's just a little notch in the back for your rear sight and this huge shark fin front sight on this thing. So aiming it for accuracy, I'm not too sure that's an issue. Like I said, it's an up close and personal gun, so we'll give it a try and see how it does. Now you got to kind of watch your grip on this thing. You don't want your hand to contact the hammer at all. You want to let it fall forward freely. It takes a pretty deliberate trigger pull to get this thing to go off. Let's give it a try and see how it does. Okay, it hit kind of high. Let's try it again. There we go. That did a little bit better. You see, I did quite an anticipation there because it takes a pretty good trigger pull, and you got to kind of pull downward when you're pulling on this trigger to get it to go off. Not extremely comfortable in the hand. It does hit kind of hard. And you want a really tight grip on it anyways. This one does have rubber grips on it. They are available in a bunch of different grips too, wood grips. They actually have a grip that has an extension on the bottom of it so you can get a little better grip on it. Let's go take a look at that real quick and see how it did. All right, there's the target. My first shot that I took kind of hit up in here. You can see a couple of little BB holes around there. They spread out pretty good. And there's actually a little piece of copper right there from one of the BBs. But your larger discs were able to punch through there pretty good. My second shot, I tipped it down a little bit, aimed a little bit lower, and no plywood behind there, so I didn't have to worry about anything coming back. But the BBs pretty much scatter pretty widely on this thing. I'm sure some of them even went outside because I don't see 24 BB holes in this target. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it looks to me like they went pretty wide anyways. Let's throw a couple of the 45 Colts in here and give it a try at the 7-yard target. All right, we're gonna load up a couple of the 45 Colts. Same thing, got the barrels opened up, drop them right in there. Now these are a 200 grain lead flat point, but they're a full lead bullet on there. And it's got a pretty good jump until it gets that little 1/2 inch of rifling on the end there. Close it up, make sure it's latched. All you got to do is pull the hammer back when you're ready to fire and it'll go off. We're going to try doing a couple headshots on this target here at about, I'd say about 6 yards away now because I've moved up a little bit, but we'll give it a try and see how it does. Now I put 2 of them right there in the head. That's where I was aiming. One right in the forehead and one right in the kisser, it looks like anyways. And then same thing, when you want to eject it, just tip that little lever down. It pops up a little bit and grab a hold of it and pull it out. Come out pretty easy. It's a pretty good jump for that bullet to hit those grooves, but we're going to take a couple shots at that 15-yard target up there and see how it does. All right, we're going to load 2 more 45 Colts in there. Take a shot at the 15-yard target for a little bit of accuracy testing anyways. I'm not sure how it's going to be, only a 1/2 inch of rifling in this thing, so we'll give it a try and see how it does anyways. It shoots pretty soft with the 45 Colts in there. These are the cowboy loads, and they are loaded a little bit softer than some of the self-defense rounds, but really it's pretty comfortable to shoot with those in there. Let's go up there. I don't see any shots on the target, so it doesn't look like I hit it anywhere. See if I can see something on the wood, maybe adjust my aiming a little bit. All right, I'm gonna take a look at the back side of the target because I can't see anything on the front side. There's a lot of holes in it, but it looks to me like there's some fairly fresh wood right there. It looks like I hit, well, quite a bit higher than, looks like I might have hit right up in here somewhere. So I'll try aiming down at the bottom of the target and see if I can get anything in there. Again, 15 yards, half-inch of rifling in a 3.5-inch barrel. That's tough. All right, we'll give it another try. Again, tip it out, drop them in, close it up, cock the hammer, and go. It's actually pretty fun to shoot with those in there. Probably more fun than the 410 shells anyways. Of course, the 410s are going to be a lot more effective, I guess, for up close, you know, personal defensive weapon. Again, oh, I think I might see a hole in there. Let's go take a peek real quick. I did manage to get one in there right there. Now, I was aiming right about here, very high. What is that, about a foot high maybe? And to the left, I don't see any other holes, but who knows? It could have been one of these up here, don't know. But it's actually kind of fun to shoot with the 45 Colts in there. I think I'm gonna throw a few more in there and give it a try. No, it's a pretty small gun. It does fit in the pocket pretty easy anyways. I'm not a fan of the trigger pull on this thing. It's not terrible, it's just kind of odd because you have to kind of pull downward on it, it seems, as you're pulling it back. And kind of a funky angle. It feels like you're pointing it down when you're shooting it just to get the sights lined up, but you're actually holding it pretty straight anyways. Let's give it a couple, see if we can do this kind of rapidly without a bunch of jerking or anticipation. Yeah, pretty good, and this close, I'm again about 6 yards away from it. I got one on the 10 ring, one in the 9 ring, so it's not a bad little gun. I like it a lot better with the 45 Colts in it than I do the 410s again, but the 410s are gonna be a better defensive round. We'll throw a couple more of the 410s in there and do them kind of quickly. Yeah, that's got some kick to it. I did get something hit me in the arm there. It didn't hit hard, but I felt it. Not sure where it came from. Let's try it again. Yeah, the 410 definitely hits a lot harder. And another thing I noticed about that is if you see where my other knuckle is here, when this thing come back, it actually hit the top of my knuckle there pretty hard. So the 410s hit pretty hard, and you'll definitely feel it. The 45 Colts are a lot more fun and forgiving, but practice with what you're going to carry it with so you'll get used to it and you'll know what to expect when you are using it as a concealed carry firearm. See if I can give you an idea what this thing is like to line up the sight picture. It is a little tricky, especially behind the camera, but give you the point of view version of it. These are 45 Colts. Definitely a lot softer hitting round, and probably nowhere near my target. All right, guys, there it is. This is the Bond Arms Rowdy, the Rough and Rowdy 45 Colt 410 shotgun shells. Get a good defensive one. You could use this if you wanted to go, you know, fishing or whatever, and you wanted a little snake slayer. In fact, they actually have a model called the Snake Slayer, but you could put some, you know, snake shot in it, bird shot, whatever. There's a bunch of different loads available for 410. If you're going to use it for a personal defensive weapon, get the good personal defensive ammo for it. If you want to get out and plank, I would highly recommend getting some of the cowboy loads for the 45 Colt. It's soft shooting. It's kind of enjoyable to shoot anyways. But if you're going to carry this as a personal defensive weapon, I would suggest making it your backup weapon, maybe not your primary. Of course, it's effective as your primary, but you've only got 2 shots. If you can't do it in the 2 shots, you're going to be in trouble. But it's a cool little gun and available in a bunch of different configurations, a bunch of different styles, but they're all basically the same gun. So you can start with this and add barrels, change barrels, whatever you want to do. Add and change grips. They are made in America, made in Texas by Texans, and it's a pretty cool little gun. It definitely has a good solid feel to it. It's definitely a quality made gun. Now when you get into some of the other models, the ones that are not rough, they've got a lot nicer finish on them. They were able to save a lot of money with this gun because they did not take the time to give it a really perfectly smooth, polished finish on it. It just has the bead blasted finish on it. And I actually like it. I think it's a good looking gun. It's a good feeling gun and a good quality gun anyways, thanks for taking a look at the Bond Arms Rowdy, the Rough and Rowdy with me. This one's in 410, 45 Colt. You can also fire the 45 Schofields in it, which is a 45 Colt that's shorter anyways. That's where they come up with the long Colt and Colt. Originally it was just one, but then they had to determine, you know, which one's which. So they said the long Colt. Not officially designated as the long Colt, but there's the 45 Colt and the 45 Schofield. That's enough of that. Anyways, if you could, hit this button up here to check out some of my other videos. Hit this button right here to subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for taking a look at the Rough and Rowdy with me. A good backup gun. Thanks for watching.